Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we're going to go through another PortSwigger Academy lab, this one on SQL injection. Name of the lab is SQL Injection Attack, Growing the Database Type and Version on Oracle. So the idea of this lab is we're going to perform a union-based SQL injection attack and display the contents of the version of Oracle. So if you're ready to start attacking this lab, feel free to log into PortSwigger Academy and follow along with me. If you don't have an account, feel free to make one and do it with me. But if you just want to follow along, hopefully you get some value out of watching this video. Let's get started. All right, so our main goal is to get the version of Oracle using some sort of SQL injection union-based attack. What we'll go ahead and start doing is on the app, clicking around, navigating, sending traffic over to Burp. And what I see is, looks like we have a title and a description for these categories in here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to select this category equals gifts. Right click, send this to repeater, hit send, just make sure everything's good, and we're getting a 200, so everything looks fine. So what we can start doing is taking a look at some of these user supplied inputs. So we have category equal gifts, and if we put something like a double quote, well, it looks like we got a 200, so that's fine. What if we do a single quote? Okay, so now we're getting a 500. So this is maybe a good indicator of where SQL injection is. If we put a second single quote in there, what that should do in theory is close out that SQL statement. It should return no data, but it should actually be a valid SQL query. So as we can see, we don't actually have any data being returned to us. And if we got rid of both these single quotes, then we actually get data back. So go back to pretty single quote. And what I want to do is figure out, and this is union-based SQL injection attack, what I want to do is figure out how many columns in this table we're going to be dealing with. So what we can do is, we can do something like order by one, tac, space tac. And this is going to say order by one. This is going to try to determine how many columns there are. So if we get it a good, we get it into 200, we know there's at least one column. We hit send, we're good. Let's try changing this to 2. We're good. So we have at least 2 columns. Let's change this to 3. Okay, so we get a 500. So we know we're working with 2 columns. And that goes a little bit back to how we have a title here and a description here. So that would be my guess. Without further analysis, we can't really determine that, but that would be my guess of what's going on. So our next step, and to kind of explain this again, this order by is determining the number of columns in that database table. And this is a comment to escape everything that's happening after that SQL. So if we just did this, we're going to blow up the query in the back end because we're trying to inject our own into this. And we want to comment all of that out. So everything afterwards, we're telling the back end just to ignore that with our payload. Our next thing is we're using union based. So we can do union select, we have 2 column names, so null and null, that would be the representation of that. We hit send, we're going to get another 500. And this is a thing about Oracle, and I have the documentation pulled up here so we can take a look at this. Is we need to say from dual table. In order for our union to work, we actually have to say from dual just to confirm everything is good. So if we do something like from dual, and hit send, now we're getting a 200. So we're really close to finishing this. We need to take a look at one more piece of documentation, which this is a good habit to get into when you're doing web app testing, is figuring out like what the backend is using, and then pull up documentation, figure out the framework the app is using, pull up documentation, start reading through it, and understanding like how it works so that you can effectively attack it. The more you understand something, the easier it becomes to attack it. And what we want to say is we want to get the version. So we're going to say in here, we're going to replace one of those nulls with banner, and we're going to say from version. So we can try here. So v dollar, oh, sorry, this is going to be banner from v version. Let me double check this, make sure I have this. So we're saying from banner. So that's correct. And it's from version. So now if we send this, we get a 200, and is there anything down here? All right, so there's Oracle Database Productions that solved the lab though. Okay, it did. Cool. So yeah, that's what I was expecting after seeing that. But this is a build up. What we'll do later, there's one more lab where we're going to get the version of another database type. But after that, we're going to start piling on more. So this is like introduction to union-based attacks just to get the version out. Our next step after the next, like get the version of database, just so we have that kind of like planted in our head how this works, is selecting from another database table and like columns and start enumerating that information out. We could use a tool like SQL Map, but let's get into the habit of understanding how this manual process works. Sometimes the automation tools don't necessarily help, and we manually understanding how this works will provide more value. But that is how we can solve this lab. I hope that you found some value in this video. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll be pulling out another version of a database, but then afterwards we'll get into more of the fun stuff and start pulling out passwords, usernames, and learning how to really chain this attack together so that we can actually compromise an application. So again, hope you found value in this video. Let me know if you like this PortSwigger Academy stuff, and if so, I will continue to make videos on that. Have a wonderful day and happy hacking.